The story of Esther shows us that providence is the calendar of our purpose. Grace and peace, everybody. Welcome to Sabbath School Study Group. We're here on the streets, taking it to the streets of Atlanta, Georgia, and we're looking at the story of Esther again to see our story, the story of the people of God, even before Jesus comes. Prophecy is a gift. Prophecy is all about God's promises being unraveled, being unwrapped, in order for us to enjoy his love. And when you look at Esther's story, when it got really critical, it got really deep, and where Mordecai says, perhaps God has put you in this situation for such a time as this. It shows not just God's purpose or intent, but there's a clock, there's a calendar, and he is in control of that calendar. It is the providence of God, not luck, not politics, not even history. It's his story. God is in control of the calendar of your calling. In Esther chapter 4, verse 13, this is where Mordecai commanded to answer Esther, where he says to her, think not with thyself that thou shalt escape in the king's house more than all the Jews. For if thou altogether holdest thy peace at this time, then shall there enlargement and deliverance arise to the Jews from another place. But you, thou and thy father's house shall be destroyed. And who knoweth whether thou art come to the kingdom for such a time as this? Esther was not just called, but there was a calendar that God had in mind for not just what she was to do, but when she was supposed to do it. So if Esther is a type or a symbol, as a woman, of the bride of Christ or the woman of God, God has a calling on his church, and he has a time in which he wants that call to be fulfilled in his church. Hey family, if you really are being touched by what you're hearing, we appreciate you passing this on to someone else. Make sure you like this video, it helps others find it. Please subscribe to the channel so we can stay in touch. And by all means, we'd love to come to your church, your school, or your group. Just hit us up with an email. That's contact@changeministry.org. When you think about when you could have been born, when you think about when you could have died even, there's power in both of those dates. Because the fact that you're watching this study and you hear it today, that means you're on God's clock. So when you believe this, we can talk like the psalmist in Psalm 31, where it says, my times are in thy hand. Deliver me from the hand of mine enemies and from them that persecute me. David was speaking in a time of crisis, and he recognized that there was only so much that his enemy could do because God was in control of the what and the when of his life. So when you look at your life and we see it through heaven's eyes and we recognize like, wow, I'm on a calendar. This is why we can have a certain peace and a certain focus because of what God plans on doing. And it's not just an Old Testament idea. It's over here in John chapter 7. Then they sought to take Jesus. They thought they were going to take him. But no man laid hands on him because his hour, his clock was not yet come. Even Jesus was on God's clock. His purpose was timed by God's providence. If that can happen for Christ, if that can happen for David, if that can happen for Esther, guess what? It's exactly what can happen for us. If we accept that promise of being a part of the bride of Christ, you get on God's timetable. You get on God's clock. So we live every day like it's our last, but we enjoy every day like it's going to last forever because God is the one who holds all time in his hands. So the same hands that know your clock, they know your future, and they know that it's going to be everlasting.